Toastmasters. So today we have the privilege of listening to one of our favorite speeches. I think we all feel that the icebreakers are a great chance to get to know more, learn more about our new Toastmasters. And so since I just stepped into it, I guess, Drew, is this kind of a typical get-to-know-you overview of who you are?
No particular thing.
Okay,
Not
perfect.
like last week, that was amazing.
Okay. All right, so not a whole lot of lead-in, timer 4 to 6 minutes for this. Without further ado, Drew Barnes with his icebreaker speech.
It's kind of I feel a little uncomfortable speaking about myself. Normally I really like doing the table topics because I can kind of be glib, fatuous, if you will. But I'll just get right into this. I'll start at the beginning. I was born in Detroit. My father was completing his training to become a surgeon, and he did not enjoy the big city at all. He grew up in Owasso. He was a country boy at heart. And as soon as he was done, with his training, we got out of there as quick as he could. And we moved up to Mount Pleasant, and that still was a little too crowded for us. We lived in Mount Pleasant for a couple years, kind of to get my mother acclimated to the more, less metropolitan lifestyle. And then as I got a little bit older, when I was in, I believe, 9, we moved to the country. 40 acres. We had apple trees, like an old orchard, a bunch of acres and acres of just hay fields. And as soon as we get out there, my dad's like, okay, we're gonna build a barn. We're gonna get a bunch of cows, we're gonna get a donkey, we're gonna get chickens, all this different stuff. He went all out. And that was, I have to say, that's one of the more defining aspects of my childhood, kind of that transition. And it was a bit rough. I transferred from the school where every grade I'd still have a couple friends from the previous year, and I come to this school where everybody has been in the same class together since preschool. They all knew each other, and a good chunk of them were even related. They all had the same last name, because I guess that's pretty common in small towns. At the time, I thought that was pretty freaking weird. And it was rough in the sense, you come in, everyone has an established pecking order. And being kind of a strange kid to begin with, kind of a weird kid, I kind of plummeted right to the bottom of that order. And, as I got a bit older, I got a bit more self-confident. I started doing a little bit better, transitioned to junior high, and then right back to the bottom again. And it took until I was in high school. I started doing all sorts of, after school extracurricular activities. I learned not to take myself so seriously. It was a lot of just learning to self-deprecating humor, I guess would be the big thing that made a big difference. It made a big difference for me because before that, I hate saying this, I was a know-it-all. I was the kid who always had a hand up like this, arm would get tired, switch to the other hand. I was that guy. And when you go from that to somebody who can laugh, who makes the jokes about themselves beforehand, it tends to change people's perceptions of you. And that really helped a lot. That and the fact I was so busy with activities like sports, drama club, that sort of thing. I was too tired to have your typical teenage angst. It really burns it right out of you. That, and when I have it, my wrestling coach would get sick of it and say, okay, Barnes, down-ups. And then he'd just go off and do something else. For 5 minutes, I just have to keep doing whatever calisthenics he told us to do. And that, in the end, I kind of went from an awkward duck to, being more confident and enjoying myself. And then I transferred, then I graduated and went to Michigan State, and I went into public affairs. I thought that was going to be great. I was going to fix the world. And, I really enjoyed that, discourse back and forth. And then it was the election year, and everyone and then the political became the personal, and the personal became the political, and it soured me on it so badly, because if you had a disagreement with one person, it was a rather small group, it would carry you to the next class, and the next class. And it was just really unpleasant. And so I wised up and switched over to accounting. A lot more pleasant. Take politics out of things, everyone's really chill. I liked that. And you know, I graduated with my degree in accounting. And during my time in college, I met my fiance. She went to St. Mary's down in South Bend, Indiana, and we had a distance relationship. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. It posed some challenges, but you know, we made it through college, being distant, and she, when we eventually stopped being distant, she herself became a Spartan when she enrolled at MSU Law. And, well, I personally have never gone to law school. I never want to, but I've certainly gotten the law school experience by proxy. A lot of anxiety about, you know, studying for the LSAT in advance, and then coming in with all these great expectations, and then being dashed by reality. It's a real roller coaster, which I'm so glad she's done with that now. She's a lawyer, and that's kind of, you know, with her graduating law school and moving on, and she's moved to Grand Rapids trying to find work there. It's kind of left me with a lot of free time. Kind of, in a sense, I've kind of been alone with my thoughts and my own free time and activities for the first time in my life, where nobody's directing it to get me into college, or when I'm in college to try to help me get an internship, or trying to even, you know, put my activities aside so I can help somebody else move on with themselves. It's kind of given me a lot of opportunities. That's why, the reasons why I'm here right now, because I saw a deficit in myself. Like I get anxious, I get nervous, I get all warbled up when I have to speak. And, you know, I'm doing this. I also, a couple months ago, I started joining a martial arts dojo. It's a Jeet Kune Do school, which is Bruce Lee stuff. There's a lot of, the whole notion of you take bits and pieces of different martial arts, what works for you, and discard the rest. I'm starting to adopt that more in my life, where the skill in life isn't so much throwing out an apple because there's a worm in it, it's cutting out the part with the worm and still being able to enjoy the apple. I really have no good conclusion, so thank you.